invites three of his disciples to go up to mountain, and he is changed before them. And Peter, speaking for the trio, says, "Lord, it is good that we are here." Isn't that our response today? As we have made our way here to be strengthened and encouraged, we echo Peter's words and we say, "Lord, it is good that we are here." And in that, Peter is reminding us of the importance of relationship, the importance of one another, this connection that we find in God. In Jesus, we have the meeting of humanity and divinity that is given us to share. Easy, right? Hardly. What gets in the way of that connection? Well, I'm glad you asked that question so early this morning. I was reading an article just recently, and the author said that half of Americans suffer from loneliness. And he says that for young people, the number is even higher. He said that we're living in another pandemic. He quoted from a book that I'd like to recommend to you all. It's called "Together, the Healing Power of Human Connection in a Sometimes Lonely World." And it's written by the U.S. Surgeon General. His name is Dr. Vivek Murthy. And what he does then is he suggests that we do three things. Three things that might seem very ordinary. The first thing he suggests that we do is that we reconnect with people. Easy enough, isn't it? What gets in the way of connecting with people? Sometimes the inconvenience of it. I think I've told you that I'm one of 7 children. My sister and I are the closest. But I remember having a conversation with my older brother, and I told him, our relationship takes work. It takes effort and energy. And there are some times that I don't want to hear what my sister has to say to me. But I appreciate it because I know it comes from a place of love. The other thing that he says that we ought to do is to try to avoid distractions. And again, that's so difficult because of the technology that gets in the way. Have you ever been talking to someone and you get disrupted because of a ding or a message or some sort of thing that pulls us apart from that conversation? So what he suggests is that we put our technology away. I remember one Ash Wednesday when I was still in New Mexico, I was preaching to a university community, and I said, what if this year we give up our technology for Lent? Oh my gosh. It was like I was asking for a kidney. But what if this author has something right? What I heard one time that a family had chosen to do is that not only had they chosen to eat together at the table, but what they had chosen to do is that they all decided to put their technology in one space. And for that time and space, they were going to be present, fully present to each other. Perhaps that's something that we can do, something that we can consider. Yesterday, we were in Chicago at St. Clair, which is the chapel of St. Rita. We had a profession for 6 who are now novices in our Augustinian community. It was a wonderful experience for us and for them to be received into our way of life. Two of them are from our province, David and Nathan. David's now 25. He's from Dayton, Ohio. Nathan's 30. He's from Canada. The others, three of them are from California, and then one is from Villanova. We all came together in the profession of faith, their profession into our community. So several things happened during that wonderful ceremony. The first is that they're welcomed, and they declare their presence before the community. The next is that they make their profession of vows before us, before their parents, before their friends and their family. David's parents, Beth and John, were sitting in the second pew, along with their children and their grandchildren. They were looking at their son, and I was talking to them after the profession. And they witnessed all of these things. When I was working in formation a couple years ago, I remember the day that they dropped David off. Now, parents, you'll appreciate this. Those transition moments in your life when you don't know if this is the right thing that your children are choosing to do. And you're probably filled with this mix of emotion, aren't you? Because you want the very best for your children. And I'm sure as John and Beth drove off, they thought, oh my gosh, I wonder if this is where David should be. And I said to them yesterday, do you remember that day when you dropped David off 2 years ago? Now, for David's father, it was the moment of the embrace. When all the friars line up and they welcome him with the embrace. And Beth said it was that moment for her husband that brought the tears. He says his shoulders started shaking and he got lost in his emotion. And it was because they knew that David was in a good place. They knew that he was connected. They knew that he was in a right relationship. Isn't that every parent's satisfaction? To know that your son and daughter is in a good place, in a right place. Today, as we celebrate this wonderful Feast of Transfiguration, we remember that we too are called to that same relationship. That we are called to be light in the darkened world. By the way that we choose to use our words, by the way we choose to use our eyes. That we encourage and strengthen one another. That as we receive food for the journey, as we go out, that we make a difference in our world. By the way that we choose to affect life. And so today we echo Peter's words. We say, Lord, it is good that we are here.